Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Ninja Kamui Season 1 on Toonami. And I thought that this was okay. Mainly it deals with the premise of ninjas and just going balls to the walls, fighting and shit. And for the most part, it kinda delivers on that premise. However, it goes back and forth between 2D and 3D, and normally the 2D is more up to the kind of par of showcasing like the brutality and the kind of craziness of the action sequences rather than the 3D. The only 3D one that really kind of holds up to me is the one, incidentally enough, in the finale at the end of the season. Not that they're bad, but you can tell that they kind of go kind of basic in how their kind of move choreography goes. It doesn't act as fluid as certain kind of ones, and the 2D one works in my opinion. So, this is 13 episodes, which I had a kind of hard time because I'm like, how many episodes are in this? It's like checking the Wikipedia to see how it kind of gets updated and everything. It's like, okay, 13 episodes. We follow this dude, Joe Logan, but we find out that his name is actually Higan. Let's see. And we see that he's just kind of bopping around doing shit with his wife and son. And his son looks up to him and everything. They do their kind of shenanigans. But we get towards the end of the first episode, and they get taken out by these ninjas. And we had seen before this that this other rogue dude was also kind of a excommunicated ninja, or one that had left the organization, and this organization wanted to pretty much be like, hey, you don't fucking do that, and kill him. So they went kind of rogue, and we kind of learned throughout the season why. And we see that Higan pretty much got killed, but then kind of got back up in the hospital and goes on this insane rampage. The animation for him taking down these ninjas and fighting them with like secret arts and stuff like that works very well. And that's kind of another thing that starts kind of taking over, because this goes from like a one-man army trying to get revenge for the death of his wife Mari and his son Ren, and goes into this kind of bloated corpo cyberpunk dystopian ninjas with like tech suits. And I rather them just have focused on the ninja aspects, or at least better fuse them together. It's not done to a complete level that I would consider it completely bad and like not worth the time, but its balancing doesn't work that well. I rather would have them focused more on that, where we get a lot of time on the Auza Joseph dude. He's like, I'm gonna rule the world with like this energy and shit like that, and we just spend too much time on him, where it's pretty much just saying the same stuff in kind of different kind of ways or orders, and then we have to wait pretty much towards the end with Yamaji, the head of the ninja organization, to pretty much get his idea of why he teamed up with Auza and what his overall objective was. Because we learned that Higan fell in love with Mari, wanted to have a child, and the thing is, the other friend in the group, Zai, was like, I'm dedicated to the ninja way, fuck you guys, and they kind of just left him. They didn't want to kill him or anything, and he really couldn't come to terms with this because of how the world has done the strong pretty much subjugating the weak and everything. And Yamaji's whole thing is to pretty much use the ninja organization. Their original charter was to pretty much protect Japan. However, they then decided to go international. That's where the whole schism within the ninjas kind of came into effect. And some of them were like, we ain't gonna do that. And they're like, we're gonna fucking kill you then. It's like, god damn. And we see that that's around the time that Higan and Mari left and did their own kind of stuff. While this is going on, we see that Mike Morse and this Emma chick are part of the FBI and are pretty much trying to unravel everything that's kind of going on, being like, oh god, we got ninjas and shit, and they've got special kind of secret arts and all that. And also some of them are now working with Auza and have like all these high-tech suits that they have to power and everything. And then it starts to get more like onto that and kind of shifting away. I mean, Higan's main objective is still in effect, but it's more like pushed to the background as we then have to get information on Auza, a little bit on the tech, these kind of guys that Higan's pretty much kind of going to get through. This kind of like short, big-headed dude, Big D, this dude who's like really worried with his fade, Dilly, who is the bodyguard of Joseph for Auza, and this one woman that we learned then is Emma, and she's infiltrated the organization. She's attempting to pretty much help Higan get his revenge and to make sure that he lives, and pretty much to make up to Mari, because we kind of get her whole spiel. She was severely burned and disfigured as a child and pretty much brought into the ninja organization to utilize disguises and everything like that. We also get this weird kind of hacker dude that really didn't need to be in there, only was pretty much as a kind of backup dude that he got kicked out of Auza and was trying to fucking get back at him, but then Emma pretty much just needs to die. Like, I understand trying to introduce stakes and everything like that, but I almost would have rather her just, like, got injured, because the Jason dude really doesn't have much. Like, Mike just pretty much randomly finds him on his investigation course. It's just like, okay. And I only say randomly because it's more kind of like the plot demands that he finds him. It's like, oh, okay, this dude's got a grudge against Auza. Let's kind of use him to get into the mainframe and get dirty secrets on that shit. And Emma's still the one that kind of goes through with it. She also steals this Gosoku gear, so that way Higan's got his own kind of shit. We can get like more superpowered, blah blah blah. Even though they're ninjas and they usually have their own kind of hidden arts, except for the ones that are working with the organization with Auza. And like Yamaji's like, oh, he like revived himself. I want a secret art. And that takes up a little chunk in the middle before we learn that Emma is the one that was pretty much able to have him with her secret art revive him, but that only happens like once, and then Yamaji's like, oh, I'm just going to take over the world and make it peaceful through might makes right kind of shit. And then we get an awesome fight with Higan and Zai and Yamaji, but then it like tapers off to just Yamaji and Higan being able to utilize Zai's secret art. And the thing is, it's never really explained how secret arts are learned or passed on, so I could almost call bullshit of Higan utilizing it, but we don't even know how they actually really work, so that could be an effect. Because he utilizes it and just kills Yamaji. And then the rest of the ninjas take out the other superpowered ninjas, and Auza's ousted and everything like that, and Joseph's put in prison. And that's pretty much about it. Higan then goes off to pretty much figure out what he wants to do, and same with Zai. I don't know if we'll get a second season of this. I think they should have stayed more kind of simple on it, kind of gone more with the John Wick kind of effect, and then in other seasons kind of like grow out a little bit, kind of expand on lore and all that, but just dumping in Auza, and I'm fine with Yamaji's overall kind of goal. It's just in the overall execution. It didn't need the Auza kind of bit. We could have had ninjas throughout the kind of world, getting to different kind of organizations, structures, and all that, and Higan having to like climb up through them, almost John Wick style, to get to his eventual person that he wants his vengeance on. It just gets muddled to me in its execution. Not that I hate it. The thing is, I really liked it. And I'm like, the premise of like ninja going for revenge on other ninjas. Yes. And most of the animation is very well done. Sometimes it gets a little bit funky, but I overall think that it's pretty decent. And I really liked it when it was in like the 2D fighting effects. Again, it's the 3D ones that aren't the worst, but you can really just be like, it's kind of basic and kind of, it kind of gets you out. You're like, oh, I'm kind of getting bored with this. Even though they're attempting to like showcase character throughout the fighting moves, that you really see with Higan and Zai's utilizing their different kind of secret arts. Higan's being more of a serenity prediction based one, Zai's being a super kind of fast moving kind of one. And overall, it's got a very like the basic premise of the story is sound. It's just again, sometimes you can overcomplicate a certain kind of thing when you're adding too much that you can't really balance it as effectively as you could if you just stuck to ninja going ham on shit. Though granted, I would still recommend this to people. It's got interesting characters, world, and lore. We'll have to see if Toonami, Cartoon Network, and Adult Swim invest more in this, because this one could definitely be a stepping stone for a better season 2. However, with all of the different kind of mergers and acquisitions and people and just corporations being fucking dill holes, I don't know. I don't even know what metrics are utilized for shit like this anymore, because this is TV and also on Max, and I don't know. I mean, I had an enjoyable time with it, even with my problems with it. I just hope that they are able to do other kind of things with it. The really sucky part is we're now getting into, I know this is kind of tangential, but it goes to their content strategy. I have seen the drying up of Toonami being able to get certain anime. Though granted, I'm glad that they got Zom 100, even though I watched that on Netflix, even though Netflix did, I would have rather have waited probably for Toonami, so that way it was all done in a better kind of cohesive manner. But if they're doing this and trying to make their own animations, I hope they're given the chance to do it, because this works. I mean, the Fooly Cooly ones, even though I have problems with certain ones of them, I'm glad that they're doing this to kind of see what they can do with it. So I hope this one gets a chance to breathe, because it's a nice, gruesome, brutal action anime that can fit within any kind of lineup. And if they're going to have trouble getting kind of licenses because of all the kind of consolidation within the anime streaming and being able to even get anything, I hope that this did well enough that they're like, hey, let us continue with this one. Let us continue trying to explore other kind of ones and doing that kind of route. So here's hoping with that. So those are my opinions on the first season. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.